All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the SHIPIT Nation Week 5 Cash Game Show. Moving along here. We do have some injury news to kind of cover this week, so we're going to change the format a little bit in terms of what position we cover first. But we're cruising right along. 5 weeks in, cash games have been going well. And you know, in terms of what we're looking at this week, like I said, we have some injury stuff specifically at the running back position that we're going to get covered. But as always, joined by my guy Title. How's it going over there? Then any initial Week 5 cash game thoughts?
Doing well. Always excited to be on this show, get the first look kind of the week. Helps with tournaments too. But yeah, 10 games on the slate. So while the games are slowly but surely getting smaller, we still have 10 games, which is a big main slate. Bye weeks have started. We still do have a London, I believe it's this week, Dublin last week. But yeah, as far as first looks, injuries definitely are starting to pile up. We saw a bunch. Like if the Niners were on this slate, like Thursday through Monday stuff, I mean, there's no Puka, there's no CMC, all the Niners injuries and stuff. But you can see just at the running back position, the top three guys, Rachaad White, Rico, and we have it sorted by value, Rico Dowdle, Michael Carter. That is backup. Injuries are starting to hit. So yeah, we'll be talking about it. Be getting naked Fields. You can always play Fields naked. Like we'll get into the quarterback after running back. But yeah, Fields is definitely a very, very strong play against a brutal Dallas defense.
Yeah, very bad Dallas defense. Promo we're running right now, 5 days for $19. So all access, $19. You get 5 days. And this would be a good starting point because we have a massive UFC card tomorrow. UFC, what is it, 320? I'm sorry, 320.
320.
We've got that. Obviously, have the NFL main slate, MLB playoffs, showdown football on Monday. Do they have 2 games on Monday, or is it just the one? Is it another 2-gamer?
I don't know. I feel like someone mentioned that we were having.
Nope, just a single standalone game on Monday night, but it'd be a good time to start. So the 5 days for $19 gets you all access over at shipitnation.com. Love to have you. And then massive UFC card, UFC 320. I know you and Marley have most of the content, if not all of it up. I listened to the show today when I was on my run. Some good coverage there. So maybe talk about that real quick, and then we'll hop into the slate.
Yeah, 14 fights. It'll be up after the show. All the breakdowns, but projections, ownership, everything will be up. Massive prize pools during the NFL season this time of the year. Sometimes prizes get pretty tough, but pay-per-view, they did it right. Assuming we keep all 14, 2 title fights, Pereira, Sandhagen, Merab. Many people probably don't know the names. If you know anything about fights, though, you'd probably know some of those. It's going to be great. Low dupe card, 14 fights is good. Big boy prizes. I can't be more excited. College football, too. Shout out to the team. Always good contests in college football. I've been starting to dabble myself, so excited for that. And today, nothing going on. There is 4 college football games, though, so our guys always have you covered on a very light day, which is rare nowadays or this time of year. Get in the college football streets if your state does allow.
Yep, absolutely. Hit the like, subscribe. Video is obviously free. Plan to keep it that way. So just hitting the like and subscribe supports us, and we do appreciate that. Let's hop in. We're going to go running back first just because of the injury situations at the position that we've kind of touched on. We have 3 really, really cheap running backs that are in play. We have it on DraftKings here. I have it sorted by value. Rachaad White's popping as a play. Rico Dowdle's popping as a play. Michael Carter also popping as a solid play, and all 3 due to injuries. So kind of talk about those guys and how it might dictate what we do for cash games.
Yeah, so I don't think that we really want, with all of that value at the running back position, like that's the value we need. Now, we're not really going to be spending up at tight end. You're not really allowed to. But I also, with the running back plays like that so strong, I don't think we need to get to like the 3K wide receivers or the full punt tight ends necessarily. So I'm looking at more of a middling build. And as the cheap pieces, I think it is the running backs. We have 3 clear ones, Rachaad White, Rico, and Carter. Right now, I think I feel best about Rachaad White and Rico over Michael Carter. I think there might be a little more competition in that backfield. There is Sean Tucker's obviously going to play with Rachaad White, but White's such a good pass catcher. He's filled that role really well anytime. Like, it's been clear he's been backup. Sean Tucker's been an afterthought with Bucky healthy this year. So I think he's very strong at 4-7. And Rico as well. Without Chuba, he gets a pretty bad Miami defense as well. Carolina should move the ball. I think they're both very good, but there's also other running backs in play. Like, if you want to just play one of those value plays and then play a JT, like, we don't have that many spend ups on the slate. Vegas isn't very good. JT's workload is as good as it gets. You go down 700 more, Achane. You're talking about against the Panthers, like 8-9 catches in play. He's been someone we played almost every time, even though he's been on the Mondays and stuff. He projects to be very good. You want to save a little more there. Amari Hampton against Washington. This dude is a grown-ass man as a rookie. Some of his runs last week, he was catching the ball out of the backfield too. The role phenomenal without Najee Harris. So that's why running back is pretty tough. There's clear plays. But when you are playing, like, if you play two of those value plays, that means you only can play one of JT, Hampton, Achane. And those are some of the best plays on the slate, like highest projected. Again, we don't have Puka, etc. So running back's tough in the sense of which, like, 5 guys do I want to play, which 6 guys? I'm not sure. I almost think it's one value for sure. And then after that, you can either go to the second value spend or you get 2 of those 3 spends, Hampton, Achane, Taylor. Then the rest of your roster will dictate like what you do after that.
Does make it tough because, I mean, you have elite stuff at every spot. If you want to spend, you have elite options. Jonathan Taylor, Achane, I mean, Gibbs. You have options up top. You want to hit the mid-tier, Hampton, like you said, looks great. Breece Hall. I mean, Breece Hall at 5,600, no Braylon Allen. Yeah, 5,600, no Braylon Allen against Dallas's shitty defense, strong option. Then you have all those values. So it's a weird situation to me where it's like, man, I almost come back to running back and just see what I can get. Like, is there a clear quarterback play? Is there a clear wide receiver play? Is there clear plays at tight end? Knowing if I come back to running back, I'm going to have 3 solid guys. It's just a matter of which tier I'm in. So that's definitely a way to go about it.
And I do think when we get back to quarterback, I do think there's a lot less options at the quarterback and tight end position where, what you do after that. Like, are you playing McBride all the way up top? Are you playing Warren? Are you going Fields? Are you spending a little higher for like a Herbert? I think it's more condensed at those positions. So I think that's a good take by you coming back to running back.
Yeah, and always, it's definitely important, obviously, to get over to SHIPITNation.com where we'll have the core plays listed for DraftKings and FanDuel, get you that starting point. Probably tough this week, though, because, man, the running back position, it's awesome that we have a lot of plays, but when you have so many really good plays, it can be challenging to figure out which is the right direction. I will say, though, of those cheap running backs, for me, it's definitely Rachaad White. Like, it is my preference. He's looked good. He can catch passes, and he's definitely going to be the main guy for sure. I do think, like, Michael Carter a little bit potentially risky, but there's been good talk around him. So if you are going cheap, it's going to be Rachaad White for me. We'll just stick with DraftKings. So honestly, we've done this show for a few weeks, and it seems like the builds for the most part have been relatively similar. So we'll go through DraftKings, come up with some sort of pool and build, and then walk through FanDuel, see if it differs in any way. So let's go to quarterback, see what we have here. I'm going to sort by projections first. Herbert's project, and I'm just using Sabre's projections right now. So Sabre projections, ownership really doesn't matter for cash game show, but they're liking Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Kyler, then Jaden Daniels, then Daniel Jones. Sort by value. Justin Fields is the top value, 56. I mean, the reason Fields is up there is Dallas's defense has been absolute dog shit. Fields has looked good, not only running, but passing too. He's actually looked pretty competent passing, good connection with Garrett Wilson, good connection with that Mason Taylor, the tight end. They've been on the same page. So not only do you get the running upside, but the passing has looked good. And then you get the good matchup against Dallas. So, I mean, he's probably the play here. I mean, just such a safe floor. I mean, with these running quarterbacks, like if they find that, I always say it, but it's true. Like they find the end zone once on the ground, you're almost like free rolling because you know they're going to pick up some additional points passing and that sort of thing and the yardage to go along with it. So I think he's probably my preference just looking through all this. He could easily, he's 5,600. He could easily be the highest scoring quarterback on the slate. Lamar Jackson's probably out and just sort of by salary here. Jaden, Hurts, Goff. Yeah, probably Fields is my preference, but talk to me about it.
I'd probably play in Fields too. I think Daniel Jones for 200 more is definitely in play. They're projected for 27 points, the second highest on the slate. Some rushing upside there. Herbert, Kyler, big favorites. Great matchup. Herbert, I mean, they've just thrown the ball so much, pretty close spread. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably playing Fields, but like, what are your thoughts? Just say I have the 500, just raw projection, Herbert, Kyler, Daniel Jones, Fields. Like, what are you thinking? I mean, if Fields doesn't get that rushing touchdown last week, it set up a great game environment, but like, it was really rough. Halftime, he had like 4 points. That is who Justin Fields is, but he's projected for the Jets, like they're projected for like 22.5 points. You get like a full 5 points higher just going up to Jones with that offense. Obviously, JT is a little concerned. You can play them both together. But, yeah, how would you, like, just straight up, you have the money, rank them?
I'd almost go raw points Fields. I mean, this Dallas defense has looked terrible. I mean, they've looked so bad. And, like I said, like to me, Fields has looked pretty competent passing the ball. Braylon Allen out, I think, only increases the chances for Fields to get a rushing touchdown. I mean, yeah, Breece Hall is great and Breece Hall is a fine option, but like to me, Fields is like a slam dunk play this week at home. I'd almost have him as like the highest projected core, and that's nothing crazy because you look at it here. Sabersim has him within 1.5 of Herbert, or with basically 2 of Herbert. So it's all bunched up for sure. Yeah, it's all bunched up, but like to me, it's like I love the spot for Fields, so I'd probably just play him. And then if like you can't find an upgrade somewhere, I'd like almost just leave the money on the table. That's my take. But Herbert's looked great. The offensive line is definitely a concern. Daniel Jones, like you said, they're projected to score 5 more, and he does similar things to Fields. So maybe you make the case there that it's Jones over Fields. But for me, I just want Fields, I think, today or this week.
Zero argument here. It's really tough. I'd be like, I'm not sure I'll have a quarterback on the cash court when it's all said and done, because I don't know.
No.
I'll be looking at props a lot. Like the offense for Indy, like moving the ball feels a lot better, and the game environment's a little bit, but I don't know. Dallas, I'm curious to hear your take. You don't have to say now Sunday on Dak stacks. I mean, Fields is definitely going to be owned. I don't think people are playing much Cowboys, obviously without CD. It makes sense, but I'm curious to hear on Sunday what you got.
Yeah, we'll definitely break it down. Tune in Sunday morning, 10 Eastern. I mean, the Dak has made us a lot of money in the past couple of years. So, is it a Dak week? I'll have to tune in Sunday morning to find out. We're probably going to have some money to spend, like if we want. I mean, we got the value running backs. We got cheap. No quarterback is expensive on the slate. So you are forced to play a cheapish quarterback. So coming to wide receiver, like, are there spends that we're interested in? Most expensive guy on the slate, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7,900. Lions projected to score 30 real life points, and they've shown the willingness to run up the score as well. So I'm not concerned with them being 10-point favorites. Jamar Chase, I mean, complete bust last week. Their offense was in disarray. I think they're probably a little more competent this week. I mean, they looked so bad last week. They have to be a little better. JSN has been an absolute stud, 7,100. Sorting by value, he's up there as the top value play on the slate. Abuka, no Mike Evans still. You got Nico Collins, Pickens, a bunch of guys in this range, a bunch of names in this range. Sorting by value, JSN, Pittman, McConkey. McConkey, that's a tough click right now. I mean, it seems like Quentin Johnston, of all names, is the number one there. Got Olave, continues to get targeted a lot, 5,200. Waddle, I kind of like a little bit at 54 without Tyreek. I think he's I mean, I would personally project him higher than this 14 number. Let's just see if, go to 15. Like, where does he rank as a value option? Yeah, he goes to the top. So if you want to be a little more aggressive with Waddle's projection, I like that. Cheap option in Malik Washington if you want it. I don't know if we need it on this slate. You kind of alluded to the fact that we might not need it. I think I do agree with you. Probably don't need it, but start looking at some of these names, and you're probably going to just want to get safety at the wide receiver position. I think it probably does start with JSN 7,100, a little cheaper than some of those other guys, but talk through some of these wide receivers here.
Yeah, I agree. Just keep it in the value stuff because I think that's the main guys we're looking at. And you mentioned like Malik Washington, and so 3.9K because of the Whites of the world, the Ricos. It just feels way safer to get a starting running back at a very similar price tag. And I do think it's a 3 running back, pretty clear right now on DraftKings. FanDuel almost always is. DK, like last week, I played 4 receivers in DK cash. This week, I would be very surprised if I do anything but play 3 running backs. So I don't think Malik's needed there. But like, yeah, JSN, we need to spend somewhere. He feels by far the safest, best point per dollar play. Target share is just phenomenal. Nothing bad to say about JSN. He will probably be a staple in cash games. And then I think you're just littered with very tough decisions. Look at that. 5-1 Pittman, 5-5 Ladd, 5-2 Olave, 5-4 Waddle. I think Debo is strong at 6.3K without Terry. Keenan Allen at 5.6. Like, you're just living in that range. Garrett Wilson at 6.1K. Quentin Johnson, I'll throw him in the conversation, 5.7K. Like, I think that's where you're living after that. Play JSN, pick 2 of those mid 5K guys and move on. It's just, which 5K guys do you like the most, too? Sounds like Waddle, maybe?
Yeah, I think for me it would be Waddle. I just, without Tyreek, it's a good matchup against the Panthers. He's had big games in the past without Tyreek. Like, for me, it would be Waddle. But it's not a slam dunk play by any means, but it's just personal preference. Like, if you, at the end of the day, you get everything you want and you come back to the wide receiver position, and let's say you end up having more money to spend here. Like, I would allocate resources here to get as much comfortability, I guess, as like if something worked out where I could just get like Amon-Ra St. Brown and everything else was perfect, like I would go that route. I want high floor here. And if it means maybe going, if you do like Daniel Jones, going from Daniel Jones down to Justin Fields, and it's only like a $200 difference, obviously, but if that gets you another layer of security at wide receiver, I would do it just because we know we have stable plays at running back. We have stable plays at quarterback. We haven't got to tight end yet. This does seem kind of up in the air a little bit, so I would maybe make some sacrifices to get more security. I think Amon-Ra, basically any week from here on out is just going to be a stable cash sort of option. So that's kind of my thoughts.
So a 2v2 that I didn't do the salary, but it sounds similar. Amon-Ra and Michael Carter, or Chan and Keenan Allen.
Yeah, that is it's tough now that you kind of propose it like that. I think it's pretty difficult. Yeah, I mean,
because then right now I'm leaning the non-Amon-Ra side for the fact that I just think the safety at the running back versus the range of outcomes on Michael Carter. Like, it just feels like you can't get running back wrong. Now, also, the second question to you, rank these Chargers receivers. I think all 3, Keenan, Quentin, and Ladd are in play. And then if you were to play Herbert, would you be more likely to play like a Garrett Wilson or a Waddle or something over those Chargers? Would you double down? Same thing with Fields. Like, if you're playing Fields, I wouldn't play Fields, Brees, and Garrett Wilson, I don't think.
No.
If you're playing Fields, would you rather go someone else other than Garrett Wilson?
Yeah.
Like, do you not want to double down?
That is a good point on the Herbert thing, because I think it is important. I think people will consider him for cash games. If I was playing Herbert at quarterback, I think I would go a different route than one of those Chargers wide receivers. If you play Herbert,
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those quarterbacks are going to end up in the same range of production, I guess you could say. I mean, most likely. And I don't want to burn myself by pairing him with.
I got to get the doorbell quick.
No problem. I don't want to burn myself by pairing him with the one wide receiver who doesn't end up doing shit. I mean, it's been Quentin Johnson and Keenan Allen. Like a lot of people are thinking it's eventually going to go to Ladd McConkey. It hasn't yet, but like it's a gamble regardless of what you do right now with the Chargers wide receivers. I'm probably just going to lean on playing those guys in tournaments opposed to cash. So it's kind of my take, but it's kind of to rank those guys in the 5 to 6K range. For me, it's going to be Waddle. I think Jacoby Myers is a fine option as well, 5,600. Looking at some of the other names, it's risky in that range. So, Pittman did pop up as a solid option, but there's no guarantee that Pittman's a lock to have a solid high floor sort of performance. So it is kind of up in there. And honestly, it's going to be your personal preference, what you do with these mid 5 to 6K wide receivers. You're probably going to have to play one or two of them. But projections are going to kind of be all over and have them mix and match depending on where you're looking. So what are your final thoughts here at wide receiver?
JSN, you're probably picking two in that mid-tier-ish range, and maybe what I do at quarterback kind of depends on what I do at quarterback. Again, if I play in Fields, probably not Garrett, etc., getting exposure to the Chargers offense maybe, but also what I do on FanDuel. I think if there's a very close decision on FanDuel and I'm playing different receivers and I have a 2v2 that either I play the same ones or different, I always diversify that way as well. So probably JSN and two mid-tier guys.
All right, let's check out tight end, and Tyler Warren is at the top in terms of projection. Close with McBride. I would say there's maybe a little more of a gap between those two. If I was gonna, come up with my own projections, I think McBride by at least a couple points. Saber's showing it very, very close between those two, but there is $1,100 difference. Got Ferguson, who is just a PPR monster right now, but priced more expensive now than Warren. Bowers is, I'm assuming in cash, will go a little overlooked, and I think that will potentially leak into tournaments as well. Yeah. And man, if you're playing like Daniel Jones stuff in tournaments, like Brock Bowers at low ownership, I think it's just a slam dunk play. Obviously not talking tournaments. We'll cover more of that stuff in our content and on Sunday, but Brock Bowers, I think, lining up to be a very solid tournament option. Let's sort by value. We've got Tyler Warren at the top, Juwan Johnson, McBride, Ferguson. This Mason Taylor guy, though, man, like his role looked very nice in that primetime game. He's 28. Probably don't need the savings this week, but he had, 7 targets, 6 the week before. He looks solid out there and good connection with Fields. But I mean, you're probably just finding a way to play Tyler Warren. I mean, I like McBride, but like the $1,100 savings, like I'll take Warren there and find some upgrades. So to me, it kind of looks pretty clear that it's Warren, which pains me to say because you guys know I love my guy Ferguson. But I guess if there was like a build that you really needed to save, I would be so fine playing Mason Taylor at 2,800. Like if I needed it, probably don't need it this week because we have the value of running back. But if there was a build where you did need that, like I would be very fine playing Mason Taylor. So tight end, what are you thinking?
I agree. Like not most weeks, but if pricing was tighter, we didn't have those running back things, Mason Taylor very well might be the popular cash guy. I just think because we have the value at running back, you can go more middling builds. A lot of builds will fall on Tyler Warren. Again, because pricing is pretty soft in the fact of like if you're going, this is what I was kind of saying earlier, if you're going like Rico and Rashad White and only one spend running back, I'm probably it's easier to get Trey McBride in that team and find the 1,100. Whereas if you're playing Achane, Taylor, and only one of those value guys, then you're probably almost for sure playing Warren because the 1,100 goes farther. So Warren, McBride right now, because he's 1,100 cheaper, my lean is Warren. Those 2 red zone carries were massive last week. Like if they're going to use them like that, he has all the upside in the world. But yeah, at the end of the day too, Trey McBride is big favorites, expected to score a lot. He's wide receiver 1 in that offense. It's one of those 2, I think, right now. But yeah, tournaments wise, especially if you're doing Dallas or if you're playing field stuff or Dak stuff, when we talk Sunday, Mason Taylor and Ferg, like you can run double tight end stuff. If you're going Warren and Brock Bowers, again, this is cash. We're talking tournaments, not cash games, but Bowers is that same price as all those 5K receivers that we talked about. You get a game environment there. He's pretty much a receiver. Very interesting in tournaments, I think, this week.
Yeah, fully agree. We're not gonna spend a ton of time on defense. I always like checking out to see if there's like a standout, obvious sort of play. And it looks like it could be the Saints. 2,200 favored at home. Probably the only time they're going to be favored all season long. So we have a full punt that is clearly in play. A favored full punt, basically at 2,200. They will be, assuming, pretty popular in cash games. You sorted by value, and they're like way above everyone else. If you don't trust them.
Texans against Cooper Rush. What I was going to ask, I mean, just looking at that projection, why would you spend 200 more for them? I'd probably have it a little closer. Still, Texans are 2.5-point dogs. Saints, or no, 2.5-point favorites. Excuse me. Texans.
Yeah.
Saints
so
1.5.
2 full punts, and then even if you don't trust either of those, like Seahawks are also favored at home. So we have cheap options, and you're definitely going cheap, I'd say, at defense for sure.
Yeah, I don't see why you'd spend outside of Saints, probably or Saints and Texans. Kamara week, definitely not in cash, but you can't argue
tournaments. Yeah, I mean, if there's a spot for him,
low.
Yeah, so many good running backs, and they're favored at home. I mean, they're probably not favored. You and I are pretty deep in the survivor streets. Like, they're not going to be favored the rest of the season. So, if you're playing Alvin Kamara, like, this is probably the time. He's going to be unowned, and it's probably the best spot. It is the best spot the Saints see all year long. So yeah, tournaments, so not cash.
Yeah.
Let's so over on FanDuel, we'll go through and see if it is any different. And I want to make sure Saber. Okay. So running back, we'll start there again, sort by value. And so it's rare to see a running back at 4K. Michael Carter is the full punt, $4,000. Rashad White, 5,200. Rico Dodal, 4,900. I'm going to add in Woody Marks, who you had the amazing call Sunday morning on Woody Marks, and he went off 5,400. So he's right there in that range. Sort by salary, Jonathan Taylor is up there at 9,500. Achane, $1,400 cheaper. So, I mean, if you're spending at running back and you have one spend, like, you can save 1,400 down to Achane. I think that's definitely the route to go. Hampton, 7,500. We talked about him. Breece Hall, 7K. Scatterboo still 6,200. Man, like, there are some, again, rock solid plays. Just looking at this, I think it's probably honestly pretty similar, but it's going to be a heavy lean of Achane over Jonathan Taylor. Like, that $1,400 difference in cash, I think you gotta go that route, and then a plethora of cheap options. Maybe Michael Carter a little more interesting here because he is 4,000, like much cheaper than some of these other guys. So talk to me about the running backs on FanDuel and how it differs from DK.
It's very similar in the sense of, like, are you doing 2 spend up running backs? Are you going a mid-tier, a spend down, a spend up? So many different ways. So JT, though, he's minus 260 to score, like pretty much in a tier of his own. We know FanDuel leans to guys that are touchdown scorers, especially more than pass catchers. Achane's still good over there, but he's minus 135 to score. So, I mean, you can definitely play them both. It's tough, though. So let's look at, like, the touchdown props for these backups that are now starters. Rico minus 110, Rashad White plus 140, Michael Carter plus 100. And Rashad White with the worst one, I do prefer on he's fine on FanDuel, but I prefer him on DraftKings as a big pass catching back. So maybe I'm more likely to go a Carter or Rico on FanDuel, more likely to go White on DK. They're still all strong, but like the mid-tier option of Hampton that we talked about for DK, I think is clearly Scatterbo or Breece Hall, 6.2K for Scats, and then going to Breece Hall, he's 7K. So I think it's JT up top, Achane if you have a little savings, otherwise Breece, otherwise Scats, otherwise you're playing one of those backup running backs. And right now, just seeing Rico with the best touchdown prop is the second highest priced. Him if I have the money. Otherwise, yeah, I'd be totally fine playing a Stone Min 4K starting running back if I got everything I wanted. So very similar on both sites where you can't miss it running back, but there's like 5-6 options and you only have the ability to play 3, which you should be playing 3, especially on FanDuel.
Yeah. Agree. It is, yeah. I mean, so it's like you look at the spends. It's like Jonathan Taylor 95, and then Achan 81. To me, I really like Breece Hall this week, 7K. So I mean, massive price breaks in what you potentially want to do at the
Brees is
position.
only plus 105 to score. Wow. Fields is plus 115. That is nuts.
Yeah,
That
so
is
basically the
crazy.
same between those two. Yeah, like Breece Hall to score. I'd be to me that's I'm not betting touchdown props. We talk about it on the Sunday morning show all the time. Like it's got to be one of the biggest robberies in regards to the sports books. But to me, like how is he not favored without Braylon
Crazy.
Allen? Like I get Justin Fields. I mean, it obviously has to be Justin Fields. The reason why it's holding him down, but I think Breece Hall's a phenomenal play this week in all formats. But yeah, it seems pretty similar though. Running back between the two sites. Let's go to quarterback. Have it sorted by salary here. Hurts at the top, Daniels, Herbert, Baker, Goff, Fields at 77. So Daniel Jones less expensive on FanDuel than Fields, whereas on DK it's flipped. That's somewhat interesting. 7,400 for Daniel Jones. Kyler Murray seems pretty cheap on FanDuel. And then we have Fields here. So I will say, like, I really like Fields on DK, but he's more expensive than some of those other running quarterbacks. I don't think it's much of a slam dunk play, but for me, it would be one of those three: Kyler, Daniel Jones, or Fields over here. So
I'll throw Herbert in there too. Just
Herbert,
if you have the money.
Yeah.
Hey, they throw so much. Like it feels like the floor is higher on Herbert than almost everyone else. But yeah, I'd probably go different quarterbacks. Like if the slate locked today, I'd probably playing different quarterbacks on DK and FanDuel because I think all of it, like you're debating between the same four essentially. Like Kyler looks better on FanDuel than DK because he's cheaper than Fields. Daniel Jones, he looks solid on both sites. And Herbert, if you have the money, like I feel good about him. The best about him, man, it's kind of like what I asked you earlier. Like if raw points, like do you have Fields the highest? And if he's the highest, price doesn't matter. You're just playing him on both sides. I truly don't know right now. It's real good math. You can make a lot of good cases for all four of them, and pricing might not matter at the end of the day.
I will say, like, if you are playing DraftKings and FanDuel, like I always called it, like the natural hedge. Like I would probably play two different quarterbacks on I'd play a quarterback on DK and something different on FanDuel.
That's my lean.
Just seems
it burned me last week or 2 weeks. I was between a 2v2 and I had the same two on DraftKings that I knew I was playing. So I went it was when CD got hurt, and then I played CD, and I would have smashed with the other. But I think it's the right move. That's like part of like you're playing multiple states to diversify when possible. You can be in the game longer. I think it's the right way to do in coin flip situations.
Same, and it does seem relatively coin flippy. They're all priced similar. Their projections pretty similar. So yeah, I don't hate that move. Let's check out wide receiver. I'll sort by salary, and Amon-Ra's up there at 93, Chase 9K, JSN 85, Collins, Garrett Wilson, Ibuka. Sort by value, see what stands out. Debo has a very good price there, 64. Is he in for sure? Because I do like him.
I thought he was.
I know that he didn't practice yesterday for some reason. Didn't practice Thursday.
Debo Nathaniel get encouraging updates at commander practice.
Okay, so did that just come out?
I saw that on Yahoo from a day ago, even though he was DNP.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's talk like he's in.
Yeah, I mean, 64 to me is too cheap. I mean, Waddle, geez, 58. So if you like Waddle on DK, which I did, like, man, 58 over here, I'm very interested. Can't really do Godwin. JSN 85, I think is totally fine. Very safe option. And maybe we didn't really talk about it, and I don't always look to do this, but like another natural correlation sort of thing. Like if you're playing Rashad White, JSN, you get that little pairing together. I don't always look to do that, but it can make sense in cash games, can increase your upside. Jacoby Myers. It seems more wide open, I would say, on FanDuel. For me, again, like I think this 11 number for Waddle is too cheap. And like, just even if you take it and say, all right, I like Waddle, Sabre showing a projection. I mean, oh, wow, we're showing 18. So SHIPIT Nation is 18. That's probably a little too extreme. So even if you increase this by, I don't know, put them at 12.75, just increasing them by 1.6, he goes up to the top value on the slate. I would probably play Waddle on FanDuel Cash. It's my opinion, my preference. I think Samuel's fine. And then maybe you get a spend and maybe it is JSN at 85. But I would say a little probably more wide open. Like JSN to me is pretty clearly the play on DK, on FanDuel. I'm fine with him at 85, but I don't think he's as clear of a play.
I agree with you. He would be still my preferred spend on FanDuel, but not nearly as clear of a play. The price is up more full or half point PPR, so he does a little worse there. It kind of comes back to the same question on running back. Like, are you playing Michael Carter and Rashad White and cheapies? Are you playing both JT and Achane? Like, if you're double spending or you're not double spending, it's kind of what dictates wide receivers. So just going kind of like pricing top down, JSN, I like him a lot. George Pickens at 7.1K, someone that fits FanDuel scoring better in the fact of big touchdown guy, deep plays. It's not the Amon-Ra or JSN that can get like 10 targets, 11 targets, but his plays are very long, usually in the end zone. So 7.1K looks good for him. Deebo Samuel, 6'4", Ladd McConkey, 6'3", Chris Olave, 6'1", Jacoby Myers, 6K, Michael Pittman, 5'9", Jalen Waddle, 5'8". Like, I think that's what you're doing. I don't really even see anyone right now that I need to go cheaper than that. You're playing probably one of Pickens, JSN, if not both, depending on what you do at running back. And then you're back in the same boat with those handful of guys between the high 5K, low 6Ks. Pick two, pick one if you're, again, going JSN and Pickens, but you just pick some of the mid-tier guys. You're back to some of the Deebos, Jacoby, Waddle, Olave, Chargers receiver. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll be keeping a close eye on it. Props.
So the one thing that's nice about a week like this, like the one thing that kind of screws cash games, like, and makes them unappealing, is a week where you just have like two super obvious plays where everyone's playing them and everyone's going to be on them, and then like the rest of the bill just kind of falls into place for you, and it's just very obvious. Like a week like this is more appealing where there's so many value plays, so many cheap plays where there's different routes to go. And like, there's going to be a variety of ways to build your cash teams this week. And I do think it's probably good for cash where teams are going to look a little bit different, and the trains are going to be a little less big than they are on a week where it's like we have two or three very obvious plays. Everyone's going to play them, and then everything else just kind of falls into place. Like, even if you are spending, like we talked about it at running back, like you have decisions to make. It's not like you just jam Jonathan Taylor. You can save money and go to Achane on FanDuel. On DK, Achane's game is better suited on DK, Achane's game is better suited for the scoring opposed to Jonathan Taylor. And then you have like Breece Hall, who's behind him a little bit. So it is pretty wide open, I would say, in cash games this week, which makes it fun. Even on FanDuel, you look at these wide receivers that we're talking about, like are people going to be comfortable paying $8,500 for JSN? So there are decisions to be made, and we have so many value plays where there's different routes and paths that people are going to be looking to go, which makes it good for the game. Over at the tight end position, McBride 7K, Bauer 65, Warren 61, Ferguson 6K, and then we have some cheap options, sort by value here. Warren shows up at the top. Really, I mean, Ertz 50. I mean, it's probably Warren, to be honest with you. Looking
McBride
at
or Warren.
Yeah.
So like it's a tough week, like you're saying, but I think we're at least narrowing down the pool at the positions where you pick 3 of these 6 running backs, you pick 3 of these 8, 7 receivers, and like those decisions are tough. Tight end, I just really think you're playing McBride or Warren on both sides as of now, and I don't think I'm not going to be plugging in as of now one of them first. If I have the money and it's a little downgrade or whatever, it's like, I guess the pricing is a little different, but Warren, Herbert, Daniel Jones, McBride, And again, there's a couple hundred that I'm missing, but what would you rather there? Talking FanDuel.
Warren, Herbert. What was it?
Yeah, Warren, Herbert, McBride,
Yeah.
Daniel Jones. And again, I'm a couple hundred less on the
Warren, Herbert, but it's like legit toss up. Like if somebody looks at that, it's like it's hard to strongly say like I have an opinion one way or another. And like this is good. I'm afraid to play Herbert with O-line issues. Yeah, they definitely have offensive line issues. The good thing for you is there's 4 other guys right around his price that are projected the same. So you don't have to go the Herbert route. And I probably don't prefer Herbert. I think it's, it is somewhat risky. So if you feel that way, you have multiple options and you don't have to sacrifice anything in your lineup if you don't want to play Herbert. So it's a good week to, play your preference, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and maybe on FanDuel it'll come down to like what you do at defense. Like we're talking the Saints, they're 3-5. I mean, they're not completely free. Texans are 3-6. Cardinals are massive favorites, 4-4. Like maybe it's that. Maybe you're getting into the Cardinals defense and Tyler Warren or McBride and Saints D. Like that's another one. And cash games, I'm still playing them. I'm still profitable, but the ROI has definitely shrunk as the years have gone on because people are getting smarter. And these, like if everything came down to these 2v2s, like just full trains, I probably wouldn't play it because I don't think there's a long-term edge in really getting these right. I'm looking at these as coin flips.
Yeah. It is a good point, though, talking about defense, because you sort it by projection, and this is Sabres projection, and a lot of people be viewing it this way. I mean, the Titans look like absolute shit. They look terrible. Cardinals 4,400 at home, favored by 8.
Literally in the 900. That's the exact Warren McBride thing that we're talking.
Yeah. So maybe that's a good point. Maybe it does come down to this. Are you playing the Saints or the Texans, 3,500, 36, or are you going $800 to $900 more expensive and locking in the, I guess, stability maybe of the Cardinals defense, or at least the more appealing spot, the bigger spread, that sort of thing. It could play a factor this week on FanDuel. On DK, I think people are just going to play those cheapies, and rightfully so. But on FanDuel, might be a little bit more difficult of a situation. You sort by value, Saints, Cardinals, right there. So that is a good point.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I think we did a good job narrowing down the cash pool, but it's wide open right now in the sense of once you narrowed it down, you got to make choices at the positions. Feels like tight end's the easiest in the sense of we narrowed it to 2. It's a onesie position. I think you're for sure playing 3 running backs on both sides, so you narrowed that down a little bit. I feel good about where we got with the show, but there's no doubt Sunday morning there will be decisions to be made in cash games, but that's good. Yeah. That's what we want.
Absolutely. All right. If you're not a member, we have the code going SHIP19. Gets you 5 days of all access for $19. Great deal. Great time to get in. You get the full NFL main slate, the Showdown slate on Monday, the Showdown slate Sunday night, UFC 320 tomorrow. I believe there's a NASCAR race as well, college football tomorrow, MLB playoffs. I mean, it's the perfect time to get in. You're going to get access to multiple big sports right now, big things going on for five days for $19. That code is SHIP19. But in regards to the cash game conversation, it's going to come to an end here. So, Title, any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
Enjoy them. It's always fun. Late swap. Definitely look at the late swap. So let me look at these afternoon games quick. We have Bucks, Seahawks. So we talked about possible JSN and Rashad White. Lions, Bengals. Maybe Amon-Ra. Chargers, Commanders. Debo's, Herbert's, Lab. Plenty in that game. Patriots, Bills, not nearly as much, but that's multiple people that are in playing cash games that if you're drawing dead, or you're you can pretty much figure out what the trains look like once you have the 1 p.m. information. So if you're blocked, do you think there's got to be enough pivots? I mean, just the Chargers wide receiver room alone, if somehow Johnson's the guy that gets there, or whoever that guy is that gets the ownership, you have 2 clear pivots when you really don't know. So that's the last thing I got. Always good for tournaments. It's underutilized in cash games and can save your ass. So
trying to think of something here. Like if you have JSN, who's going to be popular, and you have Rashad White, but the rest of your lineup is shit. you go to, and I don't know if this math works out, but you can go to Jahmyr Gibbs and a cheaper wide receiver. Maybe it is McConkey. I don't know if that works out exactly. It could be off by a little bit, but there's going to be
go 2 receivers, Debo, Quentin Johnston, or something. Like there's multiple guys. Yeah, that Lions game is a good point though, in the fact of like that's not going to get ownership. You have Gibbs,
I would
Amo, Amon-Ra.
100% find a way if you're getting dusted early on and you have those obvious plays or those chalky plays, the JSN and Rashad White or Michael Carter, some combination of those popular type plays, find a way to get on the Lions, who are projected to score 30. That would be my advice in the afternoon. So
how about those Tigers to close it out?
Man, I know.
Brewers is right though. Go Brewers. That's gonna be fun. Chicago.
I keep shitting on my teams, and they keep proving me wrong. I mean, I guess the baseball playoffs. I mean, it takes one inning. Like they didn't hit at all series. They hit for one inning, and they're advancing to the ALDS. But I'm still pulling like for your Brewers and my Tigers, man. If that's the case, we're gonna have to get to a game.
For sure, that'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's go Crew, let's go Tigers, and good luck in cash this week.
All right, good luck to everyone. We'll be back next week for the Week 6 cash game show. Good luck this week in your 50-50s, head-to-heads, double-ups. Tune in Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll be breaking down the main slate.